Hi guys, welcome to my channel MatVanGeo. Today we're out in the Western Cape in Montagu Springs and I've got an amazing species of snake here. Now you can see the surrounding habitat here. It's quite lowland shrub, karoo type habitat, which you wouldn't think would be indicative of this species. The species I've got here is a Boomslang, and it's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful snake. These are widespread throughout Africa, all the way from the coastal regions up in Kenya, Tanzania, down the east coast, into Central Africa, Uganda, and all the way down to the Western Cape down here in South Africa. So a very widely distributed snake. This is a male Boomslang, and you can see the color difference. Here in the Western Cape, they have this very darker color. Over to the east of the country, or even in the south of the country, the males are a lot greener, a lot more yellow underbelly, and are completely different in coloration than this particular individual. The Cape Town ones are a lot black with the creamy white underbelly, as well as the females being on the browner side. There's a sexual dimorphism in Boomslangs, where the males are the more colorful, just like in birds, and the females are a little bit more drib and drab. That's not an exact, or there have been reports of female Boomslangs being not completely brown and having a slight greenish tinge. So don't take it as rule of thumb, but as a general, females are a lot drabber, more brown, dull colored than the males. This beautiful specimen here from Montagu Springs, they live in and around these lowland shrubs. It's actually quite strange considering that it's such an arboreal snake. This species of snake is a back-fanged snake, so they're highly, highly toxic. Actually one of the most toxic venoms in Africa, drop per drop. But due to their very small venom glands, they don't actually inflict a very large quantity bite. So still very toxic. Still, if you get bitten by this snake and you don't get treatment, you will probably die. It's a hemotoxic venom, which affects all your blood cells. It doesn't allow your blood to coagulate. So you start bleeding out of every orifice. You have internal bleeding, external bleeding, and over a period of 24 hours to 48 hours, the symptoms continually get worse and worse and worse. So a very, very amazing species of snake. They're actually very non-aggressive. You can see this guy is very non-reactive to me at the moment. I've put him in the tube because Boomslangs are very, very fast moving, hard to actually keep in one spot and to keep still for the camera for you guys. So this is the easiest, safest way for me to handle the snake, as well as it's nice and safe for the snake as well. So very, very cool little tubes to be able to use to show you guys the beauty of this amazing species of snake. Now this is a diurnal species of snake. They're completely active during the day. Normally they're completely arboreal, but out here in the Western Cape, specifically more inland from the coastal areas, there's a lot less very arboreal type habitat. So these guys out here in Montagu Springs and surrounding areas, they must have some form of terrestrial life and moving between brushes to brushes, hiding in between the shrubbery low at night to keep away from the winds because it does get very, very cold out here. So you wouldn't think of this as the Boomslang's typical habitat. These snakes in the Western Cape often get confused with mole snakes due to their black coloration, but you can tell quite distinctively due to these very, very big eyes that these guys have for their diurnal type hunting. They've actually got binocular vision, very similar to Thellothornis, which is the twig snakes. These are actually related and from the same sort of genetic tribe. They're similar to the Jackson tree snakes you get in Central Africa, your vine snakes, etc. All very well adapted to life up in the trees. And those species of snakes as well, your twig snake and your Boomslang, with these very big eyes, you'll actually see them do a little sway every once in a while. And that sway is to actually get depth perception, which is very rare in snakes. Now, what they'll do is, because they're actively hunting during the day, their favorite prey being chameleons, skinks, lizards, the occasional bird if they can. So very, very, very well adapted snake to its environment. These bright, bright big eyes. And you can see he's displaying a little bit of that throat puffing, which is a threat display. They puff up their throats quite a lot to make themselves seem more intimidating. But this is prime habitat here for this Boomslang. They'll live up in between these little shrubs, looking for prey items, basking in the morning sun. Boomslangs tend to get between roughly 1 to 1.6 meters. So this guy's roughly about an average length for a Boomslang. So that's an amazing, amazing snake. I've got a female I'd like to show you, so I'm going to quickly pause this and we'll get the female in quick and show you guys the difference between the two. I'm back. And here we have the beautiful brown female boomslang. So this is Dispholidus typus, scientific name of this particular subspecies. And here we have a beautiful female. As you can see, a little bit more drib and drab, brown on the top, a little bit creamy brown on the bottom. And she's a little bit smaller than the male and a little bit less reactive, but she's absolutely stunning. So another interesting thing about these snakes is that they have keeled scales, which is a little ridge on each of the little scales, which gives it a bit of a rougher appearance and a feel. They're oviparous snakes, meaning they lay eggs, anywhere between 20 to 30 eggs. The female will find a hollow log or some rotting log or something a little bit more elevated. They don't nest particularly within ground or under holes and things like that. They do have quite a long period of incubation. It's over about 3 months incubation, at which point a little baby boomslangs will come out at around 20 centimeters. Now, the baby boomslangs, they've also got sexual dimorphism, the males being the brightly colored and the females also being quite drib and drab, and they change color as they age into their adult coloration. Juveniles, or should I say newborns, are actually harmless to humans. They're unable to kind of get the bite in, but as soon as they reach a length of about 45 centimeters, you better start checking yourself. But again, I wouldn't recommend handling any venomous snake without the proper equipment. If you like this video, please hit the like button, do subscribe, hit that notifications bell, and stay tuned for the next species of snake we catch out here on Expedition South Africa. Catch you around, and remember, stand for what we stand on.